wait.
Why would I do this? That's a question I asked myself many times. But to be honest, I don't really have an answer. The only thing I have is an awesome video that you're about to watch.
Finally, it's bright outside. We've been walking for about an hour and now we have to go up there to Mount Krish. So now we have reached the wall and it looks absolutely crazy. We have to go somewhere over there and then to the left. Hopefully it's gonna be alright. I mean, obviously we're not gonna push it. If we don't feel comfortable, we're not gonna go. Okay, so quick update. We successfully climbed the wall. We started down there and now we're up. Finally. It took forever. Now we're gonna eat. Another interesting thing, my gloves are completely frozen. It's like a rock. We finally reached the top of Mountain Križ. It took us a while, but we got here, and now we're not gonna continue because it's already too late. So we're just gonna set up a camp a bit down there. We're not gonna camp at the summit because it's too windy.
Unfortunately, you can't hear me properly because of the wind, so that's why I'm doing a voiceover. So basically, I'm gonna be playing an 1800 rated bot on chess.com called Wally. And I'm playing this on 2400 meters of elevation, or almost 8000 feet. Okay, so I get the black pieces, and also in the background you can see the highest mountain in Slovenia, Mountain Triglav. Okay, now let's start with the game. So the bot opens up with e4, and I'm gonna respond with c5. This is the Sicilian defense. And now bot plays knight to c3. So this is the closed Sicilian, because the bot didn't push d4. So now I'm just gonna play g6. The idea is to put the bishop on the long diagonal. Okay, and the bot does the same, so g3. Also the idea is bishop to g2. Yeah, now I'm just gonna play bishop to g7, just develop the bishop. And now let's see how bot will respond. Okay, bishop g2 as expected. So now probably knight to f6 or knight to c6. Okay, but if I go knight to f6, then bot can push e5. So that's why I'm gonna go d6 first, so that if e5 I can just take, right? So d6, okay, bot goes d3, as it is normally in closed Sicilian, not pushing d4 immediately. Let me develop the knight, knight to f6. Okay, and bot goes f4. So this is weird. Idea is, I guess, to go e5. But I mean, if e5, I can just drop back to d7, right? So there is no issue. I'm just gonna develop knight to c6. And I'm also preventing e5 this way. Okay, but bot is obviously gonna reinforce the e5 push. But it's still not a threat, right? So I don't have to defend against it. Now, one of my ideas is gonna be b5 and a5, so expand on the queen side, but let me first just castle, and then probably rook to b8 to get off this long diagonal. Okay, now bought castles, and now let me just continue with rook to b8, because the idea is to get off the diagonal of the bishop and also prepare the b5 pawn push, right? Because if I go b5 immediately, then knight can just take the pawn. Okay, bot goes h3. Yeah, I guess let's just continue with the plan. b5. Idea is obviously b4 to kick the knight, and then a5, just expand on the queen side. I have to be careful about the knight on c6 because it's not defended. I'm probably gonna develop the bishop on d7 to defend the knight. Okay, bot just develops bishop to e3. Yeah, I mean, I guess maybe he's hinting at d4 pawn break, right? But there is also some knight h5 idea, because the pawn on g3 is undefended. So if I kick the knight on c3... No, but then when the knight goes back to e2, it defends the g3 pawn, right? Because I was looking at, if I go knight h5, I open my bishop on g7 and attack the b2 pawn, but he can defend everything, so... Let me just continue with b4. It should be still the best move. Yeah, knight to e2, obviously. If the knight, for example, went to b1, then knight h5 would work. Or maybe not, because he can go g4. Anyways, let's just continue. So now I'm looking to open up my bishop on g7. So maybe knight to d7. Probably the bot is gonna go something like... Yeah, so let me play knight to d7. Now probably rook to b1. And then just a5. Just keep expanding. And I also have to develop my bishop. Okay, wow, e5. e5. This is how you know you're playing a bot, not a human. Yeah, but e5 just blunders a pawn, right? I mean, I can just take. Because notice that the knight on d7 is defending the c5 pawn. So, yeah, I'm just gonna take. I don't see anything. Because also if the knight takes and the attack opens up on my knight on c6, then I can just take with the knight that's attacked, right? Okay, knight to g5. So attacking my knight on c6. So I can take on f4, counter-attacking the bishop. Oh, and by the way, let me also show you around. There is just snow and my friend in the background building a shelter for us for the night. Okay, so back to the game. I can also go queen to c7 to defend the knight on c6. So let me do that. Because e takes f4, probably it works, but then it's too much. Just chaos all around. Okay. Now I have to go h6 at some point just to kick out the knight on g5. Okay, bot defense, yeah, of course. Because if I take now, if I take the f4 pawn, the b2 pawn is not gonna be hanging. So now if I take on, but I'm still gonna take on f4 because I just block with the bishop, right? So there is no skewer. Skewer is if the bishop would be attacking the queen and the rook at the same time, but I can just block that with bishop to e5. And now, I mean, I guess bot is gonna take. Yeah, I have to be careful about my knight on c6. So maybe I take with the knight. Yeah, definitely. I mean, if I take with the queen, yes, I'm counter-attacking the knight on g5, but at least he has knight takes f7, attacking my queen, right? So just winning a pawn this way. I'm probably gonna take with the d7 knight, just so the knight on c6 can jump to d4. Like maybe that's an idea for later. And also this way I open up my bishop. But now definitely h6. Okay, knight to f4. I don't really see a point. I guess knight d5 is the threat. Strange moves by the bot. I mean, I'm just gonna go h6. So now if knight d5, I just go, let's say, queen d8, right? Because the knight is not doing anything there. Okay, bot does play knight to d5. Yeah, probably queen to d8. That seems to be the only logical move. There is also maybe queen d6, but queen d8 is fine. Okay, now bot definitely has to move the knight, so I'm expecting knight to f3, and then maybe I go king to g7 or king to h7. What? d4. Yeah, I guess it's a counterattack on my knight, but what if I just take with the knight? Isn't this just a free pawn? Like knight takes pawn, and then what? c3? Is that the idea? Yeah, this is just a weak move. I don't know. Just blunders a pawn. Okay. Queen to e1. Again counter-attacking, so the bot just doesn't want to move the knight on g5. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I still don't want to take on g5 just because my pawns get doubled and my king opens up a bit, so I'm still gonna move my knight, and the only move I see is knight to c6 because I have to defend the pawn on e7, because now it's attacked by the knight and by the queen, right? So I also need to defend with two pieces. And now now it's better for the bot that it moves the knight. Okay, what? c3. Okay, but this is a blunder, right? Because I can trade the pawns, and then I can trade the rooks, and queen has to take, and then I give a check at least, and win the knight on g5, right? And I don't see another counterattack. Okay, pawn takes. Now I obviously trade the rooks, and queen has to take. Yeah, and now if I go knight to e2 check, and then take on g5, I think this should be enough, right? I don't see how he escapes. Yeah, so let me go with knight to e2. And then I guess there is king f2 maybe? But then the king is out in the open. Okay, and bot does play king to f2. Yeah. So now I have two options. I can take on g5 and king takes on g5 and the king is just in the center. Or I can also take on g3, right? Attacking the rook maybe. This is also an option. Yeah, let me do that. Let me take on g3. So now I'm attacking the rook and king takes g3, pawn takes knight, right? Okay, knight. Oh wow. Yeah, I missed this one. Because now the queen opens up. Yeah, that's a problem. So now the queen is attacking on g6. And obviously the point is I can't take the rook because my queen is hanging, right? Now how do I defend? I mean, if I move, no, but the problem is also the pawn on g6, right? Because the queen is getting in. Oh wait, but yeah, okay, it's fine. I thought I completely blundered, but I take the knight with check. Okay, now let's check on my friend. Building the fortress, the wall for to block the wind, right, in the night. Yeah, so let me take on f7 with check. Now the king has to take the knight. I mean, what else is he gonna do? Yeah, and now queen to d6 probably. And the idea is not only just because it's a check, right? But I defend the g6 pawn, right? Okay, knight blocks. Yeah, I mean, I guess there weren't any other moves. Okay, but if I go pawn g5, bot can play queen g6, right? And when I trade queens, knight can take because knight is no longer pinned. And in that position, actually my knight on c6 is hanging, and when I move that knight, the white knight can jump out. So maybe I can still do something in that position. Maybe I can defend my knight, but I'm not gonna go into those complications. Let me see if there are any other moves. I guess I can play bishop to f5. Attacking the queen, and now what? Because now, if the queen moves, I go g5, and this is GG, because then I have a piece. Okay, bishop e4. So if I trade, I guess it's the same thing, right? Like bishop takes, queen takes, g5, still queen g6. So, and if I go g5 immediately, then just bishop takes bishop, right? So I guess I can reinforce. So now the idea is g5, right? So if bishop takes bishop now, I can take with the pawn and the knight is still pinned. So now let's see, probably bot is gonna unpin or something, I don't know. Okay, what, a3? That's just yeah, I mean, now just g5 and the game is over. I mean, not like over, but you know, now I'm completely winning. Okay, and queen to c2, yeah, that's just not gonna do it. So I guess let me just take the knight. And now probably, maybe rook takes. Yeah, rook takes is not good because the rook is then pinned. So king to h2 is logical. And now, okay, I have to be careful about my king maybe, because now the pawns have opened up, right? And I also have to move my knight somewhere because this knight is just bad. So let me go knight to e7. And now if obviously bishop takes bishop, I can take with the knight. And also in the background you can see that the sun is going down, so have to play fast in order to not lose the daylight. Okay, queen to g2. Now where do I move my king? I guess... Okay, I'm gonna go king h7 just because it defends the h6 pawn. And also now all of the squares are covered, right? Okay. I mean, I guess, I don't know why I didn't block with the rook. This was also an option. But okay, bishop goes back. Now I guess the idea is rook to g1. So let me just stop that. Rook to g7. And now where does the queen go? Probably just moves it for one square if I had to take a guess, and yes, that's exactly what happens. Yeah, now let me just play e5 just to reinforce the pawn on f4 so I don't have to worry about it. Yeah, now I have to move the knight. Okay, but he attacks my queen. Yeah. I mean, I can go, let's say, queen b5, or I mean queen b6 to keep defending the pawns, but I think I'm just gonna go and attack. So queen to e5, I mean queen to e6, and then if queen takes pawn on c5, then I take on h3, let's say, and yeah, I mean, I get the knight in, okay, but bot just blocks. So now obviously I take, and bot is gonna recapture with the pawn, and then queen takes, and yeah, this should be over. Because now I think I'm forcing a queen trade, because I don't see how he stops it. Even if he goes, let's say, rook to g1, I can even trade the rooks as well, right? So rook g1, I take, he takes, I take, king takes, and I'm up a knight, so this should be an easy win. So yeah, let's see. Okay, he goes... Oh wow, yeah, that's a nice move. And he also stops queen to h5 check, right? Because this was basically a mate threat. Okay, so now, I mean, my pieces are perfectly placed except the knight. So let me play knight to f5, just looking to jump somewhere. Maybe knight to e3. Okay, I also have to be careful about the diagonal on the king, on my king, right? Yeah, so we see the rook moving. Now, yeah, let me go knight to e3 because it also covers the c2 square, right? So the queen doesn't have a check. And now I'm just going to exchange the queens. So just rook to, I mean, just queen to g2. Just exchange the queens and it should be a simple game from then on. Yeah, and bot also pushed a4. I don't know what this is. I mean, I guess it doesn't have any other moves, right? Yeah, now let me take. Okay, there is a tactic that I have to be careful about. So now obviously king to h1 is forced. And now I have to move the rook, because otherwise bot can sack his rook and then take mine, right? So I have to be careful about that. I guess I can go... Maybe just rook to c2 or rook to a2. Let me play rook to c2. Just attacking the pawn. Okay, bot attacks the pawn as well. Yeah, I mean, okay, but wait, if I push, bot takes. Push, bot takes the knight, push, that's it, yeah, GG. Okay, so I can just push. Because he can't even get behind the pawn, right, because of my knight. Yeah, takes, but I don't care about the knight, just push. If rook takes knight, I can just queen. Okay, check, I mean, just go anywhere. King to g6, let's say. Okay, check. Yeah, I guess it doesn't matter, right? Okay, I can make a mistake maybe with king to f5, because then it can go rook to e8 and then check me and get the queen for the rook. But king to f7 should be game over. Okay, now I guess I should just be careful about stalemate, but not really, because the queen would check, so... Okay, we see rook to g6. I mean, probably the best move is to promote. I'm just gonna take the rook, just because why not? Okay, I guess, yeah, I messed up. I had mate in two. So if I mate the queen, rook blocks and then just mate on h3, but who cares? Game should end shortly anyways, so it doesn't really matter. Okay, so now king to h2. Wait, can I make... Let me make a knight, actually. Just because I can. No other reason. Yeah, so let me make a knight. And now where is the mate? Also you can see the tree glow in the background shining because of the sun. The sun is going down and soon it's gonna be night. So let me finish this game quickly. Okay, so king moves to g1. And now where is the mate? Okay, so I go check, king moves, and then knight checkmate. Yeah, this is a nice way to finish. So now king move is forced, and that's it. GG. Checkmate with a knight. I didn't expect that. Yeah, good game. Now I have to quickly put on the gloves because my hands are freezing. And I also need to help my friend finish the shelter, or I guess the wall. Because obviously we're gonna have sleeping bags, but we still need a wall to protect us from the wind. But before I do that, let me just show you the view.
Look at this. So this is where we're gonna sleep tonight. My friend over there is digging up some snow, so we're gonna have some wind protection.
We finished the wall and now it's time to move in and make some dinner.
So we just woke up. The sleep was absolutely amazing. We slept for 10 hours and now we can see the sunrise. We cleaned up everything. This is how the fort looks like, and now we're just gonna descend back into the valley.
That's it for today. Hope you guys enjoyed the video and see you next time.